Everyone, in 2022, Sony and Samsung both released their 4K flagship TVs. Sony released X95k, which is mini LED backlight panel and backlight master drive, and Samsung released their QD OLED panel, which is also fantastic color and contrast. Today I'm going to react about the Sony X95k versus Samsung QD OLED S95B. I took this video from Whisper Status 74. So go to their channel and subscribe and press the bell icon, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel also. So let's see the video.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
Hey, what's up guys? This is Brian at Whisper Status 74. Welcome to the community, welcome to the channel. If this is the first time you are seeing me, please consider liking and subscribing. We are real tech for real people. Today's video is a very interesting comparison of the brand new Sony X95k mini LED, which just released last week. Today it'll be going against Samsung's latest and greatest QD OLED S95B, which has been taking the entire TV world by storm. Comparing these two for me is very interesting. I like comparing different technologies and different manufacturers, even different sizes. This is an 85 versus 55 simply because it's the only X95K currently out that I had access to. But when I watch the QD OLEDs compared to other OLEDs, they simply dominate in many of the side-by-sides. They do tend to meet their own match when it comes to LEDs, which is why I find both of them fascinating. For the fact that QD OLED can hang with an LED, and the fact that this new mini LED has excellent black levels. Special thank you to Mr. Robert and Wendy Zahn of Value Electronics for allowing me to film in their theater today. Please check the description below, and please consider making your next AV purchase through them. I will describe all of the settings and everything through the demo. I hope you enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. Alright guys, here we are in the back theater room. This is a completely controlled environment as far as light is concerned. It is blacked out all the way, putting both panels into cinema on the Sony and movie on the Samsung. This is where they look the most similar. You're seeing me just go through the settings, making sure that dynamic contrast is disabled. Local dimming is on high. We don't have like a live color or vivid on the Samsung at all. Considering how the Samsung is considered to be very inaccurate, it's amazing how easy it was to match them up. Just showing you some of the settings here as we go into our first demo. I will also repeat this demo after with brightness preferred versus gradation preferred, live color, things of that nature. And they look very similar, which I find fascinating. Now, Value Electronics in the back theater room, it is very high. It is a large room, very high ceiling for Atmos. But I didn't have enough room with an 85-inch TV to get too far back. This is as good as I could get and get them both in frame. Again, it's 85 versus 55. Now we are dead center. The black level on the X95K is fantastic. There is no aperture tricks. The camera is at its auto in terms of aperture. Now, sometimes it has a hard time at catching both technologies. There's times where the QD OLED would look blown out, which is odd to say for an OLED. But it is also credit to the OLED to be able to compare to a mini LED, which is extremely bright. I don't have final numbers on how bright the X95K is. I will have those numbers once it is calibrated, and the Samsung is not calibrated either. Now, this is straight movie versus cinema mode. I will return to this demo later in this video with brightness preferred versus gradation preferred on the Sony. And we'll have like an advanced contrast and dynamic modes added in to give it a punchier look. We'll talk about that. But for right now, we are here in cinema and movie, and it's amazing how close they look. I've compared many OLEDs through the years to very bright LEDs, and a lot of times the LED on camera crushes the OLED in certain scenes, and vice versa. Here, it's amazing to see an OLED look like an LED or an LED look like an OLED. If I told you they were both the same technology, you would say, oh, okay. That is a testament to both. It's a testament to the QD OLED's vibrancy. I think the vibrancy and more color makes it seem brighter, even though it is very bright. But look how well they match up. Now, considering again the talk of QD OLEDs being inaccurate or the colors not being, it wasn't hard to match up the colors. They do look similar, and at many times, even though Sony is known to be more accurate, even with live color disabled, the Sony at times looks more saturated. Now, the reason why I like to say that having the QD OLED go against an LED, again, is a testament to the OLED, saying, hey, look, it's in the ring with something that is very bright. It's amazing how they look so similar. And guys, I'm here just to have fun. I'm not a scientist. I don't claim to be a calibrator, and I'll prove it to you. Here I am in dynamic and in vivid mode. So this is both panels, very bright, all bells and whistles enabled. And the fact that the OLED is even in the conversation is pretty amazing. And look at the colors pop. Accuracy is important, obviously. I like to be in the middle where I can have an accurate image and then a fun image. I want to be able to show you both. At the end of the video, I will show you all the settings and what it does to the image on both. Now, in my previous video, I did show the X95K with black bar movie type quality. You can go back and check out that video. But here was about getting them to look as similar as I could, and it was not hard. So here we are in a dynamic mode for the Samsung and vivid for the Sony. To me, at times, the OLED is just much more colorful. Well, not much more, but more colorful. And in here is where the peak brightness does show up in the whites of the Sony. Now, it's interesting with the QD OLED, it doesn't really dim much or at all. And there are only sections like this where you can see the LED pull away. But much like the comparison I did with the Samsung Q190A versus the S95, it seems like it's not just specular highlights, but the entire image would be brighter. Again, the colors aren't matched perfectly. They do push blue on camera, OLEDs, which is why I think they look different, even though they're set to the same temperature. They are different manufacturers after all. Now, these are both through a splitter, HDR splitter. So we're not using the apps from either, as sometimes Sony's apps are forcing HDR and not. So far, all of these are HDR demos. I will tell you when they're not. Obviously, you're not seeing them in HDR. But even in that scene we just passed, you could see that it was actually brighter on the OLED. But look at how natural they both look. These are beautiful demos. And I believe I'll be pausing it here. Look how gorgeous that is. I thought I paused it. I guess I didn't. I paused it up here. But how beautiful are these? The HDR, here we go. As I pause it here, you can see that, you know, it is a bit brighter on the mini LED, but not by much. But look how similar they look. Really beautiful. I believe I pause it again here. There we go. Yep. You can see there again, there's more yellow on the QD OLED, but it's brighter on the mini LED. I was there to film gaming. That'll be in a separate video, which will be up in a few days. There is a lot to unpack in regards to the X95K in gaming. But the QD OLED, for me, is the benchmark this year. Look how gorgeous that is. It is the benchmark this year So in this here, we do have live color enabled on the Sony. We have brightness preferred. Local dimming is on high. I believe we do have contrast enhancer on low for the Sony and on low for the Samsung. They both do the same thing. It's a bit brighter, a bit punchier. You do lose detail. It's not as deep. But showing you that enabling those settings does make them still look similar. Now in the green here, which again is usually the Achilles heel of Samsung, the Sony is as saturated, if not more. Now again, live color is enabled. But I do think they look very close. And even the depth here, you can see that it's very dark in the city on the mini LED, and same on the QD OLED. And in this scene, at least in the city scene, the blacks look better on the mini LED. And at times, with the mini LED, there is more depth. Now here we're back to cinema. Straight up, no gradation, no brightness preferred. What's funny, that scene always makes OLEDs look like they're blooming, even though that's just the scene. Now I will say that when you're looking at the 55-inch, especially with the pixel density, the black level can be seen more in objects. You can see a lot more detail. Meaning the black level always penetrates each fiber or material. It's not just the separation in the black bars or round objects. But they do look exquisite. Love the way they are. So much fun filming both new panels. Again, it's an absolute gift to be there. You guys know these demos by heart. I like to use similar ones so you can compare from other panels that we use throughout the year. Now I don't have any equipment hooked up to them, no way to know how accurate things are, but I find them very similar. And at times, the Samsung does look more natural. Now remember, live color and everything is disabled here. Now I believe here we're actually going to be in standard. This is out of the box of both of them. This is how you would buy it. Both these panels are in their standard mode, which both ship in this mode. And that's what you'll see out of the box from both. Which means, I think local dimming is on medium for the Sony, and extra enhancer is enabled on both on low. That's how they ship out of the box. I want to be able to show that to you as well. That's why you're seeing a bit more haloing. That's just the camera, but it is brighter than the previous demo that we did with the same footage. As we know, OLEDs do not bloom. And again, filming this stuff with, I always think of you guys when I'm there. I think about the community. I think about how much you guys would enjoy using these panels and comparing them. It's good to keep it light. You'll see here, these do, see how it messes with the camera more than the more accurate modes did earlier. Standard pushes it. What I like about both panels is even in movie or cinema, they're still very vibrant. They don't instantly become dull. Now this is a very challenging demo coming up from Hisense. And the black levels are excellent. Not a lot of room for me to move around. And actually I'm leaning back with the tripod. So kind of hard to keep it still. Now, is there some blooming on the mini LED? Absolutely. There is a little bit off angle. You see it more in a dark room, but it's the best mini LED I've ever seen. At least so far. I haven't had a chance to spend time with the QN9 or the QN90B yet. We will have the 95B shortly, and you'll actually see that go against the X95. Now, where are you guys when we talk about these panels in the comments? How are you with all the attention the QD OLEDs have been getting? Are you hopeful for LED, mini LED, the Z9K, the QN900B, the 800B, TCL, Hisense? Now here we are in SDR. And they still look very similar. There is no extra dimming on the Sony. Where in comparing SDR on the QN90A, the brightness would drop so much for SDR, we're not seeing that with the Sony. Though the Samsung has taken an update, so it's not pushing the brightness as it once did, and the Sony has been fully updated, by the way. Updated it when I arrived. But are LEDs something you guys still want? Burn-in is less of a risk. I personally still like the very high peak brightness of an LED. I still like the whites to be truly white. However, blooming is something that I'm allergic to. And the gaming features in regards to OLEDs are still king. They cannot be touched. And sneak peek, the X95K's local dimming is disabled in VRR. We will cover that in depth in the next video. But I love the saturation. I love how these images look. And here is one more SDR. And again, the color's not perfect. But even if I tried to make them perfect, you do have more of a blue push on the OLED. But there's very few scenes, if any, where you say, I wish the OLED was brighter. And I will tell you, by themselves, they are stunning. Now, the pixel density of the 55-inch yields a tighter, cleaner image. The 85-inch really never looks soft, but next to it, that's where you see it. A lot of times, a lot of these things we talk about, you don't see unless you're comparing it with something else. What I mean by that is if you have a QD OLED, you hear everything about them, and then you look over at your own OLED, you're not going to see a difference unless you compare them side by side. So your panel, whatever you have right now, whatever you're watching this on, is still as beautiful as it was when you bought it. But I'm curious of what you guys think about this comparison. Now, as we go through our good friend Jennifer Gala's and the HCR Super Channel content here, what I will do is pause it and go through the settings. And what I'll do here is, as I pause it, show you dynamic and vivid on both, standard on both, and then cinema on both. So you can see how each manufacturer alters their own image with presets. Again, these are out of the box. This takes a second, but you'll see me engage the preset up top for the Sony, putting it in its vivid mode. I believe I put it in its vivid mode. And then I'll grab the Samsung. There's my dogs. And trying to match them up like for like, but showing you how it actually, there's the vivid. Now showing you how they match like for like. I only redid this because vivid is at the top and dynamic is at the top. I wanted to go in order. Now you can see there, without even losing the progress bar or the content bar, settings bar, I should say, what each one does to each image. And though they're different manufacturers, Vivid, Standard, Movie, all look pretty similar. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the comparison. It has been very fun to bring X95K and QD S95B content to you guys. Again, special thank you to Robert and Wendy Zone of Value Electronics. Check the description below for all of their information, and please tell them that Brian from Whisper Status sent you. So fun this year. TV year has been insane with C2, G2, QD OLEDs, and now the X95K. I've been having a blast bringing this content to you. Love you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments, how you feel about them, what you're looking at, what your needs are. I'm curious to hear what you guys think. And for all those of you in the live chat watching this premiere, love you guys. Thank you for all your friendship and support. It's so fun. Look how beautiful these are. Also, check out Jennifer Gala and subscribe to her HDR Super channel, which is what that content is.
You see, as Brian says, S95B and X95K, actually not much any picture difference, but both are different panels. S95B actually QD OLED panel, and X95K is mini LED, and it has backlight master drive, which actually first launched on 2016, and it was so popular. I don't see any blooming in this X95K. Its picture quality is so nice. Nice shadow detail, and I like the color and Sony algorithm, Sony's processing, just fantastic. Yes, Samsung is also very excellent, but I actually like the Sony's color algorithm. And yeah, many people actually says that, like Quantum TV claim that this Sony X95K has lots of blooming. It has mini LED, but it is still some blooming. But in my eyes, I don't see not much any blooming. I know 65-inch X95K has 432 zones, and 75-inch has 700 zones, and 85-inch has 868 zones. That means every 10-inch, 168 zones. Sony increases every 10-inch, 168 zones. And 65-inch may bloom, but 75 and 85, if you just on calculator, you can calculate 65-inch 432 zones, okay? 432 by 65, you'll get around 6.4 something. That means 6 per inch, 6.4. And if you 65-inch has more bloom, they say, and if you multiply 700 by 75, it means 9. And if you multiply 868 multiplied by 85, then you will get 11 point something. That means the more the big X95K, the better, the less the bloom actually happens. And I actually recommend all of who wants to buy TV right now, I recommend X95K mini LED, because Sony's picture algorithm just fantastic. Yes, S95B is a unique TV in Samsung's lineup. It's different from Samsung's QLED lineup, including the high-end Samsung QL95B. And in that, this TV uses a new QLED panel along with the Sony A95K. This new TV technology actually uses blue OLED panels with quantum dot color filters, and is advertised to deliver much brighter colors than traditional white OLED displays like the LG G2 OLED. And other Samsung's TVs, it uses Samsung's proprietary Tizen operating system, smart interface, which is offer large selection of applications and games. And compared to X95K, it is also a Google TV. It's so fast and responsive, and it's great for actually movie lover. But it's also, I will recommend it. It doesn't disappoint for gamers also. But for gaming, if you want the maximum performance from the TV in gaming performance, you can pick S95B. But overall, if you tell me overall which one want to choose, I will pick definitely X95k mini LED. So if you like this video, please subscribe and press the bell icon for future notifications update. Thanks for your time.